threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Yeah. Everybody want to talk about pyramids.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about today's episode. Been thinking about it for a while.
This one's been on the...
It's been on the list for years.
For a long time.
Really.
Just keeps making its way up. Conspiracy.
It is a conspiracy. Yeah, what are we talking about today, Cameron?
We're going to talk about the pyramids.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, everything I knew about them
wrong
is gone.
I think.
Yeah, not at all what I thought.
Well, and really what I've found out is that nobody knows anything about them.
Well, we do. And
We
that's
know
what
some stuff,
we're
yeah.
going to talk to you about.
We do know some stuff, yeah.
But before we talk to you about the pyramids, this information may have come from pyramids. It's called self-reliant medical care. And it's I mean, there's no joking around about it. It's a big deal. You need to know how to take care of yourself and your family and your loved ones when things go south. There's only one book that'll tell you how to do that, and it's the Prepper's Medical Handbook by noted wilderness medicine expert and survivalist William W. Forgy.
Yeah.
MD.
Yeah, man.
He's legit. He knows his stuff.
I wish I could meet
Went to medical school.
I want
That's
to
why
meet
he got MD in the back of it.
I want to meet him.
I do too.
You know?
He seems super smart.
Yeah.
But you can basically obtain all that information that he has learned through his book and know how to take care of yourself when the grid goes down, when an SHTF, all that stuff. So it's definitely part of my library because it's easy to access the information that you need that you're most likely to encounter with you or your family.
Yeah.
It's very organized. It's easy to read. You don't have, difficult medical jargon. And it even shows you how to build your own FAQ, which I really like.
That's the best, yeah.
So
really is.
If you want to know how to practice medicine in the wilderness, this is the book to get. The Prepper's Medical Handbook by William W. Forgy.
Yes, sir.
Go to preppersmedicalhandbook.com or just go to Amazon where you're shopping every second of every day lately.
You know what? In my mind, like William W. Forgy somehow is connected to Charles Hepwood, and I don't know why. Like, I feel like they're kind of like kindred spirits.
They probably,
You know what I mean?
Reincarnated, something like that.
That's kind of like I'm getting a vibe from old Dr. Forgy.
Yeah.
You know?
As I write this book.
Is that right?
Dear Preppers.
Dear Preppers.
There's only one way to survive.
Your penguin meat.
He's just biting penguin jerky.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But get it. It's a good book.
Get it. But man, today we're talking about the pyramids.
Yeah.
And really we're focusing on the Giza
Weird things,
ones.
right? Yeah,
the Giza.
that's true.
Because there's thousands of pyramids.
That's
Like,
true. That's
pyramids
true.
everywhere.
I ain't the only ones.
No, but these are the ones
Which
that,
I did believe. There were only those.
I thought so too when I was little. I was like, there's 3 pyramids in the world.
Last week I knew.
When I was littler, when I was 42 3/4. I think, am I 42? I think I'm 42.
I get that. Yeah.
Do you not get like your age confused?
Yeah, I have
at
to
times?
look at the birthday calendar.
Yeah, I'm like
for my family because my name's on there. I'm like, oh, it's my 42nd birthday this year.
I have to go back from the year I was born to what
42.
year it is, and then I figure.
Well, you're technically in your 43rd year.
Yeah, I'm in my 43rd year.
Good job.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
But I've never seen the pyramids in all those 43 years.
I do really want to see them.
I would love to.
That's one of my.
To me, they're fascinating.
Super fascinating.
And the more I learn about them, the more I'm fascinated.
After reading this, I'm just blown away.
Yeah, it's crazy. We have a ton of information today, by the way.
Yeah.
So stick with us.
Yeah. This is going to be like National Geographic on steroids.
It is. Yeah. So.
Or not. Probably National Geographic on Valium.
No, it's like National Geographic on alcohol, probably. Or something.
That makes more sense.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But yeah, so just a few things before we get into the good stuff.
Yeah.
It's just kind of history and purpose facts about the pyramids.
Okay.
So when I was little, last week, I thought about the pyramids as like these awesome things that all I can picture is like, all of these Egyptians wearing like the pharaoh's like headgear and just whipping all these slaves to pull all these stones up. I even remember there's a Garfield, like
That's
where
Garfield.
they're like he's like in Egypt and they're that's what they're doing. They're like whipping all these really poor like super skinny slaves.
That's pretty crazy. For
and
Garfield.
he's like held up as because they find the
Oh, the Sphinx.
the Sphinx on there.
That makes
so he's
sense,
like a pharaoh himself.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's
get
a
it.
great Garfield episode if you want to go see it.
Was that like Garfield and Friends?
I don't
Do you remember that one? The
yeah.
cartoon?
Oh yeah, I watched it all
I
the time.
watched that every day.
I always, when it came to the Friends part, I just stopped watching.
Did you? You didn't like the other ones, huh?
Not as much.
Was like I can't remember what the Friends were now.
But even now, watching Garfield, I'm like, I'm not really into it. I don't like the
There's
comedy
a new one
as
coming
much.
out.
Oh, I thought
It's Chris Pratt is Garfield.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. There, do you remember on I think it's on Zombieland when they're like, "Do you have any regrets?" And it's like maybe Garfield.
Yeah, maybe Garfield. Yeah.
When
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's dying.
He just
Anyway,
gets me, man.
so anyways, that's kind of how I always saw him. But
Yeah, sure.
Now, recently, with like new information and things that they found, papyri and all that good stuff, they've found that like it wasn't that way. It was more they were like well fed, hired, and like part of society that like wanted to build.
So I heard that
It was like kind of like a foreman and everything to like operate.
the way that they
Whoever got this contract, man.
I know really the way that they figured that out was one article that I read is that they found all these bones of cows nearby.
Oh, I didn't hear that. No.
And because of that, like that was like for like people that like they would never have fed slaves beef.
Oh,
or something.
really?
Yeah, and so that's the
what
reason they
figure is,
think
like, consuming a ton of cow meat. Oh,
because they must have been actually paid workers. So, I don't know.
that's cool.
I know,
didn't
that's
that.
cool,
But
yeah.
but yeah, like and just for one, I mean, they're massive, and the size of the stones used were like just enormous, and they found that like the material used was like 800 kilometers away, so they had to transport the material or stones or however through the Nile. And Kobe's going to talk more about like some of the ideas of how they actually constructed this thing with different methods.
And let me tell you,
Because
none
they really
of them
don't
make
know
any sense.
Yeah,
to me.
this is crazy.
None of them make sense.
So, but even at 4,500 years old, they're still finding more and more information about these things. So the pyramids of Giza. So, and there's just this thing. Egyptians. This was this year. Egyptian officials announced the discovery of a hidden corridor above the pyramid's entrance, measuring 30 feet long. And the passage could serve as a jumping off point for an additional research into mysterious inner chambers. Like, I thought that it was fully explored already.
No, man.
And they keep finding like these different passages. They've sent robots in. We'll talk a little bit about that. And there's like sealed off areas that they haven't explored. And
To me, honestly, it's crazy that they haven't just cut this thing up.
I don't understand how.
Well,
I know that they're like, this is sacred, the Egyptians, but they're doing their own like research. It's like, no, it's ours. We're gonna figure out what's going on.
And like, I kind of get it. Like,
I do too.
You want to preserve them.
Yeah,
they've been here for 4,500 years. Let's not make that the end of it. But it's like, it's just crazy to me that they really haven't gone in and just cut this thing to pieces.
Yeah, you would think
to look through everything.
Just knock all the bricks off.
Oh yeah, just like people
push it all over, dynamite.
We got to
it.
figure out what's in the middle of this thing.
That's what I'm surprised hasn't happened.
Yeah, I'm
It's
actually
blown it sky high.
Impressed that they haven't done that.
Yeah. So just recently they've been doing these scans and ultrasound to kind of like figure out what is throughout the whole thing.
It's a baby.
You got two little babies.
You got twins.
So,
Twin pharaohs.
But these scans that they've done have revealed several voids, 30-foot long passages that they haven't been in, which lies beneath the chevron-shaped configuration stones, not far from where the tourists are going in. So that's the one that
there's a gas station right there. Is that what you said?
That's what I know. I'm like, chevron throws me off too. I don't know. Chevron's like this zigzag.
I'm more like a Texaco man. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but they're still finding stuff up to today, which is crazy. Just some basic facts about it that are pretty straightforward facts. I mean, maybe they could be changed next week.
Yeah.
The Great Pyramid of Giza is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and is still largely intact. Like we were saying, it's crazy they haven't destroyed this thing.
And that's an episode on itself, the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Because like it's the only one that's left.
Yeah.
Out of all of them.
That's true, huh?
Which is pretty crazy to me. And like some of them, like I think one of them was the Hanging Gardens. Like they don't even know if that actually really existed.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some really interesting
It's crazy
stuff
yeah.
Yeah.
They were constructed during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt around 2500 to 2580 to 2560 BC. They believe that during the time of the construction that woolly mammoths were still on Earth.
Isn't that, that's insane.
This blows my mind.
And then that also
Maybe that's who was pulling the bricks around.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that would make some more sense. Some of it, but
just put in their tusks and
yeah,
good job.
Exactly.
T-Rex is running around back.
20 years is what it says. Yeah, 20 years. 2580 to 2560.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Right?
Do your math right.
Yeah, if I'm doing math right, that's 20 years. And we'll talk about that later. But like,
took 50 years in Salt Lake to put together a temple.
They are still working on I-15.
It's true.
They've been doing that forever.
We've lost a little bit of advanced technology.
Well, and then speaking of that, I just watched a video this morning where they were talking about like after these pyramids were built, they progressively got worse.
Like the
pyramids
technology?
that they built.
Oh, really?
They just got worse and worse and worse. It's almost like they forgot.
Subcontractor.
They're trying to flip them, right? This is like a flipped pyramid. Those flipped houses.
I'm gonna make it real nice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do it real quick, cheap material, get it off to the next guy before the market falls out. But no, they said that it's like they forgot the technology, or they forgot,
or the aliens left,
That's what I'm saying. Like there is so much surrounding.
It really
this
is like I didn't think it was that interesting.
Yeah,
like I'm like, oh, it's interesting. And when you brought it up about doing an episode and digging into it for this, I'm like, my gosh,
digging into it.
Getting deep into that pyramid.
Yeah.
The construction of the pyramids remains a subject of big debate, and we'll spend some time there. The Great Pyramids contain 3 main chambers that we know of.
Yeah.
The King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and an unfinished chamber at a lower level. The purpose of the pyramid is most likely multifaceted, serving as tombs for pharaohs, symbols of royal power, and possibly having astronomical or religious significance.
And so, like, that's what growing up I always
thought it was a tomb.
Assumed it's a tomb.
But
the more I look at stuff, the more I watch videos and read, I'm like, this really, it's almost just, they're just guessing.
Yeah, they are.
They're just guessing.
And then not to mention all the like early explorations and the deaths and the weird, I never even mentioned any of that.
Yeah,
exploring and all the weird crap that was happening to him. Like it was trapped. And
Brendan Fraser had a hard time, I think. Didn't he?
did, yeah.
Over there. I don't
Chester
know.
Copperpot's in there.
Yeah, I'm sure Chester Copperpot's
one of his
in there
family
too,
members anyway. But
The Mummy, that was a great movie.
That was a good movie. I like that movie.
Great movie, man.
But yeah, the pyramids continue to be a source of fascination and mystery, and they're still researched even to today, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, man. It's again, like this is like something that if anybody tells you, oh yeah, this is how it was done.
In this time, like there shouldn't, I feel like we talk about mysteries all the time, but this one's like, it's right there in front of you. Like, how do you not know how it all works? Like,
yeah. The more we go through this, you guys.
Let me in there. I'll tell you what's going on.
The more we go through this, the more you're going to be like, wait, nobody has any clue what's going on. This just, it makes no sense.
It seemed so simple to me as a kid.
So simple.
I was like, oh, it's just big stones. It's got a little tunnel to a tomb. That's all I ever thought of. Like, I didn't even think there was any mystery around it. But
yeah, you were wrong.
There's a ton.
You were wrong,
mystery.
and now you know.
There's a ton of mystery.
Yeah, mystery, man. That's the thing. What's going to happen?
I think they're going to be like War of the Worlds, like
yeah, one day
like, the lightning's going to hit the top. Somebody's going to power the inside.
Oh,
geez. Just going to lift off.
I'll bet you like somebody will get hurt probably. And what if
just
you're
a really dumb robot?
Yeah,
it's like
what if you're in an SHDF situation? You get hurt and you need like antibiotics.
Oh,
you know what I mean? What would you do?
That's always a concern for a prepper.
Like we think about that all the time. You know, in today's unpredictable
Not for me.
world,
I've been taking them for months.
I'm on a constant dose.
I'm immune to everything.
I have a Z-Pack that I just continue all the time. In today's unpredictable world, being prepared for unexpected health challenges is more crucial than ever. That's why we are so glad we discovered Contingency Medical. You guys, imagine a health crisis strikes and the usual channels for medications, they're disrupted. We've talked about this.
Guaranteed.
It's going to happen, and it has happened. That's where...
I'm not going to work.
No, Cam's not going to get you a prescription. That's where Contingency Medical saves the day by providing you access to emergency packs of antibiotics for ordinary ailments like urinary tract infections, ear infections, strep throat, and more. We're talking about common antibiotics. They treat hundreds of additional infections, right, Cam? They're not just for one thing. Contingency Medical even has symptom management medicines, everything from nausea and diarrhea to motion sickness, ensuring you're up to the task even if you're not feeling your best. Look, I recently went through the process and I ordered my own ReadyPack Plus. Cam actually did the same thing. Was it last year or earlier this year?
Yeah, I think it was last year.
honestly, it was so easy. I couldn't believe how easy it was. Like, I was thinking this was going to be like a tough
I
process.
thought it was going to be a televisit, and
Oh
then
my
I'd take all
gosh.
my clothes off,
Yeah.
video it.
And I was okay with that. I just didn't want to
I had it ready.
Like, I was naked the whole time. I went through it. But look, it is so easy. And really, I was astounded how easy it was.
Yeah.
So you really got to go try this out. Contingency Medical also provides access to board-certified physicians for guidance on safe and effective treatment. Plus, your prescriptions are shipped from licensed pharmacies, so you know you're receiving quality care from start to finish. And get this, Contingency Medical offers free shipping on all packs, so there's really no reason to delay. Now's the time to prioritize preparedness. Don't wait. Go to contingencymedical.com/CPP. Enter our promo code CPP. You guys, you're going to get $20 off your pack. That's a freaking good deal. That's $20 off.
That's a free antibiotic right there.
Yeah. At any pack at contingencymedical.com/CPP with our code CPP. Also, disclaimer, Contingency Medical and its products are not intended as a substitute for professional medical treatment or advice. Consult with your healthcare provider. This is like a backup.
I know what I need. Like,
I
you
know
got pneumonia.
what I need.
You're on your deathbed.
Yeah. Don't. So guys, I mean, really, it comes in this cool little pack too. Like, it looks nice.
Now you don't have to get unpredictable fish antibiotics.
I know.
You can get a real deal.
I was so stoked when we decided to partner with these guys. So contingencymedical.com/CPP. Use our code CPP. Get $20 off.
So sweet. Yeah.
So let's talk about these pyramids and how there's some insane facts. I want to talk about like the construction of them because that's where we're like, it starts to blow my mind.
I think that's the most mind-boggling.
Yeah. So the pyramid, this is the big one. It is estimated to have 2,300,000 stone blocks. And they weigh anywhere from 2 to 30 tons, and some blocks that weigh over 50 tons. Like, that's unfathomable amounts of weight. If you think about 50 tons.
No one knows what a ton is.
It's 2,000 pounds. A ton is 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's 2,000 times 50 for one of those stones. You can't just lift that with a couple of guys.
That's insane. That's a lot of.
We don't have a lot of cranes that, I mean,
even I was going to say, even the equipment we have would struggle to construct this thing.
100%. So that's kind of crazy. Everybody loves it when I say 100%. The granite used in the Great Pyramid was transported over 500 miles to the construction site. Now, granite, if you don't know, is hard and heavy.
Oh, they said granite. They have
granite
using it as the.
No, I didn't. So how the hell did they transport that?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. That you don't know. Nobody knows really. Some say that maybe they used barges. Big.
That's
boats.
what they kind of think is like shipped up the Nile. But.
Shipped up the Nile, but I think they're in denial really on that one. But the bigger stones wouldn't work that way. You couldn't do it with those. Some say there were cranes, but there weren't. They didn't have cranes 4,500
big
years
flying
ago.
cranes.
No, I'm talking about machines. So there's lots of different theories there. The outer mantle,
but still, it's
I
like,
know.
What do you have? Like 1,000 cranes lined up? It's like past each.
What did
one
you
of them
build
to,
the
like,
cranes out of?
Steel.
They didn't have steel. They didn't even have iron. It was all
I know.
copper.
That's so weird.
I don't get it. Yeah. So the outer mantle was composed of 144,000 casing stones, all of them highly polished and flat to an accuracy of 1/100th of an inch.
It's like everybody working on it was a sculptor.
Even sculptors today can't do that.
Yeah.
They can't do it to 1/100th of an inch. It's insane. And they weighed 15 tons each, by the way. The cornerstone.
You can't just roll it over and start working on one side.
The cornerstone foundations of the pyramid have ball and socket construction capable of dealing with heat expansion and earthquakes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it was like a ball and socket. Like, this is insane, dude. The mortar used The mortar used no man. Wow. The mortar used is of an unknown origin. It has been analyzed and its chemical composition is known, but it can't be reproduced.
Wow.
We cannot reproduce it today.
Doesn't make
We can
sense.
make an iPhone, but we cannot make the mortar they used. You okay? We cannot make the mortar that they used. And it's stronger than the actual stone the mortar is. It's still holding up today.
You know who's using this stuff?
Who?
Dentists.
Dentists.
They're
That's
the
why it's
only
so
ones that have
expensive.
access to this.
They're actually the descendants of pharaohs.
Well, they're
Does that make sense?
They're descendants of pharaohs, and they also came from Atlantis.
They also
So-
this is all coming together.
This is making more sense now.
Yeah, get out your tridents. All right. The centers of the four sides are indented with an extraordinary degree of precision, forming the only 8-sided pyramid. This effect is not visible from the ground or from a distance, but only from the air, and then only under the proper lighting conditions. At dawn and sunset on the spring and autumn equinoxes when the sun casts shadows on the pyramid.
What?
Yeah. You tell me how they did that. Give me an explanation. I don't get it. The granite coffer in the king's chamber is too big to fit through the passages, so it had to have been placed during construction. The coffer is made out of a block of solid granite, so this would have required bronze saws 8 to 9 feet long with teeth of sapphires. Sapphire teeth. Okay?
I'm waiting for BattleBox to send that blade.
Oh, man.
The sapphire teeth.
Blade of the month. The Pharaoh coffer saw.
Oh, man.
Anyways, the Great Pyramid, this is cool, had a swivel door entrance at one time.
That's cool. I saw that, and I was like, it was like super efficient. Like, did it say like very little pressure?
It is reported that when the pyramid was first broken into, that the swivel door weighing some 20 tons, that's 20 times 2,000 pounds, you guys, was so well balanced that it could be opened by pushing out from the inside with only minimal force. But when it was closed, it was so perfect of a fit that it could scarcely be detected, and there wasn't enough crack or crevice around the edges to get a grasp on the outside. Just like perfect.
That's insane.
Tell me how this happened. I don't
Have you
know.
ever gone through a door in like the Hilton? Those things are hard to push.
Are they? Oh,
and
yeah.
it would be way smoother, and it weighs 20 tons.
Exactly.
It's insane.
Yeah, I compare it to a Hilton door for sure.
Yeah, that's what it is. They designed it after that.
Maybe a Radisson. I don't know.
Speaking of, I was only going to the lobby to look, and I was on my way out.
You were on your way to the Econo Lodge down the street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we usually do. We go to Salt Lake. We stay in like a cheap hotel, and then we'll just go wander around the lobbies at Christmas. Look how nice these hotels are, kids.
These people are of the 1%. They're not us.
They're all like looking at me like, what is this trash?
Get your
doing here?
disgusting kids out of here. They're getting syrup on our doors.
Get back in your car and go to bed.
Get back in your car and go. Some say the Great Pyramid of Giza took 20,000.
Getting syrup. Of course, yeah, their mouths.
they're just covered in syrup.
Been eating pancakes in those cars?
Good gracious, get out of here. Some say that the Great Pyramid of Giza took 20,000 workers 20 years to build, or just one alien spaceship. I added that one in there. Okay.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
It's the only plausible explanation I have at this. But here's the crazy thing. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more later. But so if it took 20,000 workers and it took 20 years to build, I think they know how many years it took because of like carbon dating the stones and stuff. I don't know how.
You think.
Yeah.
But they keep changing their minds.
But if it took them 20 years to build, it means that they had to have placed 12 blocks each hour, day and night for 20 years.
That's, this isn't, yeah.
Explain it.
I can't.
Give me some answers. Son of a bee, I can't figure it out.
Seriously,
So
like
how did
the efficiency.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's like when
They
you
were
go,
not American, that's for sure.
I don't know, unless it was like Chick-fil-A line. I don't know how they're so efficient.
I don't know how they do that either.
But yeah, they might have built the
You're
pyramids.
like, I'm in the third level of the circle.
Yeah.
How am I? I already got my burger.
I got my burger. I've already eaten it.
Yeah,
I've already
I don't even know how they do
defecated.
that.
It's crazy. How did they do this?
Cars washed, filled. It's like, what happened?
my kid's homework's done. Like, well, I just want a chicken
Yeah, you get in
nuggets.
that Chick-fil-A circle.
I don't know how they do it.
Everything happens. Everything comes together.
Maybe they have like the secrets of the pharaoh, and they're like, "What are we going to do with this? We're going to start a chicken joint.
Seriously.
Look,
They're smart.
you're going to get it so fast.
We're going to make a lot of money.
You know, freaking good chicken, good sauce, and you're going to get it quick. You know, secrets of the pharaohs.
Yeah.
Pyramid power. Okay. How did they construct the pyramids? Some people say they had machines or cranes to do this. They were ancient, obviously, 4,500 years ago. So
Simple.
simple.
And machines and cranes. Next question.
That was easy. Move on. But, you know, so this might explain some of the other, like there are different types of pyramids. There are the step pyramids that have like the big, the steps in them. But it would not, you couldn't do it in the Giza pyramids. Just wouldn't work. They didn't have the surfaces available, right? This kind of goes in with this too. In 1884, an article in the Fort Wayne Journal Gazette by a conference of scientists said that maybe they were already hills and mountains. They just put stones on the outside.
Yeah, I have actually a little part about that.
Yeah, so they actually say that's been debunked at this point.
It's true.
Yeah,
I got to talk about it.
That's true. Okay, yeah, maybe later on we'll talk about that. One of the most challenging feats involved in building the pyramids seems to be the way which the Egyptians were able to cut the rocks with that extreme precision. So they stack them with almost no space in between them at all. Not even a piece of paper can fit where the two stones touch. I read this in several articles. We can't recreate this today with our most powerful diamond-tipped blades. We cannot do it.
Will they try a sapphire blade?
I don't know. But they can't do it.
Yeah,
That's where my confusion lies. I don't get it.
Well, I've seen the corners and edges in my house, and I can tell you for sure
there's no 90-degree angles.
They are not doing very well with construction.
Some say, they were able to do this just basic hand tools and some ingenuity. Like, it's not that they had better tools than we do. They were just really a lot better at using it. I mean,
they cared about their work.
I guess so, but I mean, I still, to me, doesn't explain it.
It doesn't.
So some say that to achieve that smoothness in the rocks, they just had these two big poles with a tight rope connected, and they would pull the rocks underneath and pull it forward so you could tell if it was out of level. Because
that still doesn't make there's no way that would be that.
So when it made contact with the rope, they knew they had to shave that piece down.
We can't shave it down. It's not sundown on the third Saturday of the month.
It ain't the vernal equinox. We can't make this work.
Yeah, we can't see it.
So anyways, some say that they just use tools. I don't know. Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Some say it might have been liquid limestone.
I saw
concrete.
that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Basically, they were
kind of makes sense. It got poured.
Built by pouring into some forms of some sort, and it made a perfect geometric shape. And then they put them in.
That makes a little more sense to me than transporting this massive, perfectly cut brick.
Yeah, to me it does. And there's actually a little bit of
salt.
Yeah, there's actually evidence to this. Somebody looked at it. The Egyptologist Jean-Philippe Lauer, that dude, detected that appears to be air bubbles on the surface of the stones, signifying that air may have been trapped under the liquid concrete.
Oh yeah.
So
somebody didn't shake it good enough, get all bubbles out.
That's right, exactly. Here's one of
tamp it.
Yeah, you got to tamp that down. Ramps. This is where a lot of people think this worked because
this is
of ramps.
the idea I kind of picture in my mind.
Exactly. So, but here's the problem: if you just did a flat ramp up for the main pyramid, I think it's Khufu, the big one. Just a flat ramp to get the rock up to the top. That ramp would have to be over a mile long to work, just for physics, to actually physically get it up there. So they're like, there's no way that's
a lot of wood and whatever else.
Whatever they
build
made.
That.
And how would you get a 50-ton rock on wood? It would be insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people say, no, it was a zigzag ramp, on the outside as they go up, which, but they're saying.
Looks kind of like a, what's the thing? Anyway.
I don't know.
The things that we used to build now, like what are they called?
Houses?
When they paint, they stack them on each other, the pole, they all click together type of thing.
Scaffolding?
Scaffolding.
Okay, well, yeah.
It just looks like scaffolding on the outside.
Kind of, but it's like a ramp. Right? It's not really scaffolding.
They're not going over each other.
No,
they just wrap around.
And it was built of earth and rock. The ramps is what they're saying.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not like a outside wood scaffolding build. That's what I was picturing.
No, not like that. It's actually made of earth.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it's like they're kind of building the pyramid, but using the ramp on the outside of it. I can't even talk about it. So no. But this is actually
take a minute.
This has been widely discredited because you wouldn't be able to get those rocks.
We need
around
the NFL drawing thing.
I know, Telestrator.
Yeah, Telestrator.
That's what we need.
I'm sure
for sure. But they're saying
draw it, and yet they used to
make it somehow. But anyway, you can't get those big stones around the corners of it. It just wouldn't work.
Always a problem.
There's always a problem. So anyways,
that makes sense.
But Jean Pierre Houdin, he has a theory called the internal ramp theory. So since the 1990s, a French architect named Jean-Pierre Houdin has devoted all his time to studying the Great Pyramid and has been able to design a most brilliant pyramid construction theory ever conceived. According to Houdin, the Great Pyramid was constructed with the use of 2 separate spiral ramps. The first one was an outer spiral ramp ascending about 30% the way up, and the second was an internal spiral ramp through which the heavy stones were dragged the rest of the way. Yeah.
I was like, people like this, where do they get their money? They just sit at home and like
the government
draw it up.
It's the government.
Like,
I don't know.
I'm glad that they're working on it and trying to figure it out, but
I don't know. Maybe he sells croissants. You know what I mean?
I
French
can't
toast.
work on a pyramid today. I gotta go work.
Gotta go sell some French toast.
Okay, don't mess with it. I almost got it figured out.
I've been making calculations and stuff. Okay? I'm gonna figure this out.
Bunch of bread stacked on itself. Like,
Don't touch it. He's using croissants for everything to make his
you
model.
slide it up like this, just pulling a little string, like a little croissant going up.
Croissant. I like that.
Croissant.
That.
Yeah.
Croissant.
That's a different.
Cruise on a croissant over there.
See that croissant cruising up there?
Yeah. And they actually said there is some evidence for this when they did some like low density scan of the pyramid that they could see some of this stuff in there. So that might be a plausible explanation, but there would also have to be some big cranes involved to make that work as well. So I don't
Stupid
know.
cranes.
You tell me.
Can't rule them out.
This one is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but it's actually a really popular theory. People think this works. Wet sand. So, yeah, today some advocates still believe that the pyramid stones were moved over piles of sand that were made wet so as to, easily drag the stones without causing friction. So, like, they just got the stone, like 50 tons. They could just move it because they were on mud. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me either because it's like
over 800 kilometers.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You just keep wetting it, boys.
and like aqueducts and stuff weren't like developed and stuff were they at this
well,
point?
they think that there were.
Maybe there were.
There's one of the theories that the next theory, the water shaft theory,
It's
sort
the
of like
answer
an
to
aqueduct.
everything back in the history.
I know.
It's like, well, aqueducts.
Aqueducts, they did it with that. Yeah.
I got to get my prepper aqueduct set up.
Oh, I know you definitely do. But anyways, they say this is a way that they could explain at least the transportation of the stones from hundreds of miles away, right? They could use that. But they're like, well, then maybe, they had some sand on the ramp and then they got it wet, and so it was easy to push up. But then they're like, well, how are you going to get traction on the ramp to pull it?
So I was wondering.
You get 100 slaves up there pulling this thing, they're all falling on their face.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
It's
saying-
super slippery.
Yeah, that probably isn't gonna work. So but that's
Unless they
one
have
of them.
sapphire shoes.
Oh yeah,
They ain't getting traction all day with
Yeah.
that.
Ooh. I got a new sapphire Nikes.
We're low on sapphire. Been using it on everything.
Bring out the sapphire. Yeah. So the water shaft theory, like you alluded to, I mean, sort of like an aqueduct, right?
Yeah.
What about constructing a long water causeway underground from a local water source within reasonable distance from the quarry, and then using water shafts to float the stones upward? So somehow, like, they had this long causeway, and then they had a bunch of water, and they'd float it up somehow.
I feel like there would be some evidence of like a lot more evidence of these big
That's the
aqueduct
problem.
forms. Like they're gone.
They're like, okay, so they have these miles long causeways, but now we can't see them
Can't
anywhere.
find anything. Yeah.
We know exactly where they should be because we know where the river is. We know where the pyramids are, right? So they would have this causeway, and then they'd put like these light pieces of flotation material on the stone.
Bread.
Yeah, croissants mostly, and then they would float them, right?
Yeah.
I
can't see that working today.
yeah,
Like in any with all the stuff that we used to
no.
bring Titanic parts up.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work.
So it would have took like 10 years to build these causeways, and they would have had to have been 6.2
We got
miles
10
long.
years left to build it.
Yeah,
It took us 10 years to
Yeah.
build the
So anyways, that is one way that they think maybe it could have happened. Here's the one
Well,
I'm
that's
going
just
with.
for transportation, right?
That- yeah.
To get there.
Well,
then what does it do with
It's part of it. But then also they have some sort of like these shafts built near the pyramid too that would float
Looked like
them
a big
up.
water park.
I know it's like,
like-
Six Flags or Seven Peaks or something. You know what I mean?
This looks fun. Nah, it's just to build a pyramid.
Now we just gotta get them stones up there. Okay. So anyways, here's the theory I'm going with, just because I know it's the most insane theory, but it's really the one that makes the most
logical
sense.
one. It really is.
Extraterrestrial intervention, and everyone's going to be like, "You
That's
idiot!"
the answer to everything,
I know,
right?
it really
you
is.
can't figure it out. Aliens.
So, although extraterrestrial intervention is generally rejected by mainstream scholars because they're closed-minded when it comes down to it, okay? A healthy number of Egyptologists and historians believe the pyramids were built by aliens. Given everything we know about the pyramids, it may be irrational to conclude that ancient cultures could not have built these incredible structures on their own. I mean, that's where I'm coming from. Show me how it was done, because I can't figure it out. Even with our advanced technology today, we are wholly incapable of constructing pyramids like the ones in Egypt. This right here came from an article in medium.com. Despite all the study and examination by scientists, exactly how the pyramid was built remains a mystery. With modern-day tools and know-how, scientists have not determined a way to recreate the pyramids, even on smaller scales, with the same precision as those that built the originals.
Can't do it. It's crazy with all the stuff and measurements and lasers. And
Just doesn't make any sense.
How we can't.
So that's why I'm going with aliens, all right?
Yeah.
So therefore, obviously, it seems unfathomable that an ancient primitive civilization possessed both the technology and the ingenuity to construct the pyramids with this extreme precision. So yeah, again, given 2.3 million stones weighing on average of 2.5 tons each, it is estimated that one stone would have to be put in place every 2 minutes for 20 years straight.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? Like, it doesn't...
It's doable.
Yeah.
Doable.
Okay. Let me bid this project.
You get enough man.
Yeah. You give me some men with some gumption and a little elbow grease.
You get to church Sunday school to work with you.
Yeah.
And get it together.
Get it done. Call priest to corn. We'll get it figured out. Okay.
He's rotating and out.
Yeah.
Rotate the stakes and the wards. And
For sure. So this includes the time to cut the rocks perfectly, have them transported miles across the desert, haul them up the ramp of the pyramid, and then lay them perfectly in place. Every 2 minutes, one of them.
you need a saucer, man.
You do.
You need a flying
one
saucer.
that flies.
Or pyramid saucer.
Yeah. So in 1968, the Swiss author Erich von Däniken.
Däniken
Skywalker, published his best-selling book, Chariots of the Gods, Unsolved Mysteries of the Past, which went a long way in popularizing the theory that ancient astronauts visited Earth, were welcomed as gods, and greatly...
Like ancient astronauts, a little easier to take.
I know.
Yeah,
They're just ancient astronauts.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. And greatly influenced the cultures, religions, technologies, and, of course, architecture of ancient civilizations. So that's where it started
So do you
from.
believe the aliens came and gave him information on how to do it, or do you think they helped them do it?
I think,
And
I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like
Cam.
they helped them transport.
You think
it?
it was-
There's just no other way.
They're just like, let me grab my toe strap.
Yeah,
We'll pull
I
these
got
over.
tractor beam. Hold on.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it. I don't. Again, none of this makes any sense to me. My brain isn't big enough to understand it.
I do think the next one makes the most sense.
Do you?
So this
Okay.
is the one I support.
We have talked
especially
about,
from being down here.
For sure. Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Narmer palette?
I remember talking about
Yeah.
it. Oh, that's really an armor.
This is a stone table uncovered in Egypt and dated to approximately 3000 BCE. The tablet has been identified as a tool of... What are you talking about?
I remember bringing it up because we talked about, that's an armor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Narmer.
This plate, this palette, it's super an armor.
Narmer, yeah. Is identified as a tool of ceremonial practices and is considered of great cultural significance to Egypt. Upon inspection, it can be observed that the Narmer palette has two large animals depicted on one side. They are large, have long twisting necks, and each have a handler holding a leash.
Oh, cool.
All right. Some pseudo-archaeologists have looked at these animals and compared them to Brachiosaurus, the long-necked dinosaurs made famous by Littlefoot movies. This has been used as one of the main pieces of evidence in the truly shocking claim that dinosaurs built the pyramids. Or I guess it's more like they helped build the pyramids.
Yeah.
Right?
I can see that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Why not?
Just a bunch of Brachiosaurus tree stars out front.
Oh, yeah.
And they just can walk them right
Doing
up
their
the
thing.
pyramid.
Exactly. I don't know. Makes as much sense as a ramp that's a mile long.
Or wetting sand for miles on end.
Yeah. spit, guys, spit. Like
I
they're
know.
just spitting as
You
they
got
go.
pee, don't pee over there, pee right in
Be
front.
right here, buddy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. And then, like, something you could just say that there's a long lost technology that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
They had some sort of technology, and that's kind of what this next thing is: levitation.
That's the only thing that would make sense. Either the aliens were using like
Yeah.
the tractor beams, or they had some sort of way to basically negate all of the gravity.
Yeah. So levitation appears as a common theme among fringe pyramid theorists, and that's we're fringe pyramid theorists,
Of course.
at this point, Cam.
We're fringe podcasters.
Yeah, the famed psychic Edgar Cayce, who believed the pyramids were built by a consortium of Atlanteans,
Yes.
Egyptians, and Caucasians
And dentists.
from southwest Russia. Orthodontists claimed the ancients used their extraordinary mental powers to lift the massive blocks into place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew Collins, author of the book Gods of Eden, Egypt's Lost Legacy and Genesis of Civilization, cites 10th century Arab historian who recorded a folk tale. Inscribed magical papyri were inserted beneath the stone blocks used in the construction of the pyramids before the latter were struck by an instrument of some sort, plausibly a rod or a staff. Somehow this induced them both to rise into the air and travel for a distance of a bow shot.
Not too far, but good enough to
make it easy.
Get it going.
Yeah. So by striking the stones, the ancient Egyptians were able to set up some kind of sustained sound vibration that enabled the building blocks to defy gravity and move over the ground for a distance of around 86.5 meters. Before they would have to be struck again to achieve the same result. After
You hit that rock.
Get one more time. One more time.
Get one more hit.
Yeah. After producing an initial thrust, they would have been able to take advantage of Newton's first law of
Yeah,
motion.
just
you
keeps moving.
Just keep pushing.
Yeah.
Right? So
It makes sense, but there's no explanation behind how they did it.
no.
But levitation would make things so much easier.
Oh, it'd be
it's like
way easy.
building a pyramid on the moon. You just kind
Exactly.
of like position it where you
Yeah.
want it. Set
Let
it
it
down.
down.
Put a little glue.
Yeah.
A little secret mortar.
Yeah. A little bit of that tooth glue that the dentists are using these days on your crown, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crown glue. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
So like there's a lot of other stuff with the way they were built. It's kind of weird. Like the precision, the alignment, the pyramids with it's perfect with true north. It's astounding, given the supposed lack of advanced tools during the time, other than levitation, apparently. Some argue that this level of accuracy suggests a deeper understanding of geometry or astronomy. But some say it was just they had a plumb bob. They had a plumb bob, they got it to work.
You need to do the plumb bob.
I'm like, really? The guy, the redneck next door that's building his fence with the plumb bob?
Same
could-
thing.
could
Same
go-
thing they used.
Man,
Dead.
I don't
dead.
know. Built
It's
over
not that complicated.
It's not. Built over 4,500 years ago, the three main pyramids, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, I don't know how
Sure,
to
I like that.
Okay. Exhibit remarkable geometric accuracy and alignment with the cardinal points. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, in particular, showcases an astounding level of precision in its construction, with its sides aligning almost perfectly with north, south, east, west. Like almost
That's cool. I had no idea that.
perfectly. Yeah. The alignment is so precise that the deviation from true north is minimal, raising questions about the methods and tools used by the ancient builders. And so they say that it's like barely off, but honestly, it could have actually been perfect back then because we think we've had some pole shift
Well,
since 4,500 years ago.
Sarabam,
Yeah,
bunches of
Sarabamba. Yeah, exactly. So the meticulous alignment of these structures not only reflects the Egyptians' advanced understanding of astronomy and mathematics, but also highlights the cultural and religious significance attached to the celestial orientation of these monumental structures in ancient Egyptian society. So there's a lot of other weird stuff that goes. It's so hard to explain that I didn't really want to go into it too much, but they're saying that the Great Pyramid is like a perfect scale model of Earth.
Yeah, that is weird.
Really weird. And also that it encodes its own latitude and longitude.
Yeah, that's right.
For some reason.
Like the numbers add up to like
Yeah.
yeah.
And its base perimeter is equal to half
Just a
a minute
coincidence.
of latitude. Whatever all this nonsense means, it's all interesting to some people. So, also, there's like some weird cosmic connections going on with this.
So there's a geocache there somewhere, is what you're saying. Okay.
Got to get the right app, though, to find it. Some theorists propose a fascinating alignment between the layout of the Giza pyramids and the three stars on Orion's belt. suggesting a
I believe you mean
deliberate
Orion.
Orion belt, sorry. Suggesting deliberate connection between these earthly structures and the celestial patterns. They're like perfectly aligned.
That is weird.
Yeah. So it's like they had something going on. They're like, we're going to build these just like Orion's belt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens needed it to be that way.
They did. So then we're talking about the missing capstones that we've mentioned earlier, right? The Great Pyramid of Khufu is believed to have originally featured a smooth outer casing made of...
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I didn't either. Because I've always seen those depictions, like they've made like drawings or renderings of it, and it's always like super bright.
Yeah,
and like
it looks like the dollar bill. Like,
yeah,
like that pyramid's like super.
Yeah, and it's like shiny, but it's because it had this polished Tura limestone.
Yeah,
that made.
Then
it
they show like
all
these pictures
reflective.
of them standing on these huge stones. I'm like, it looks like crap. Like,
Exactly,
it's all torn up.
But like apparently you could see it from like hundreds and hundreds of miles away because it was so bright.
Man, that'd be amazing. Like if you were to time travel and see the finished product.
What
there.
it looked like when they were, cutting the ribbon the day they were opening them up to the aliens or whatever they were doing. Like what they looked like, you know what I mean?
Well, we're out.
Giving away like free little Egyptian pyramid keychains and stuff to everybody. You know?
Bottle of mortar.
Yeah.
Don't use too much.
Exactly. Got any
Go a long way.
Go a long ways for one molar. Anyways, some say
So
that
do they believe the capstone was gold?
they don't say it was gold. It was some other material. Like there's a lot of different theories
Of what it actually was on
was.
the capstone.
They do know that the outer casing
crown.
was that
It's
Tura.
made out of crown material. The
Yeah.
same stuff that the dentists use.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just a big crown on
They
top.
do know that the rest was that Tura limestone that was super polished. Gotcha. So anyways, they're saying that because of this capstone that might have had other, significant symbolic value or, spiritual or astronomical significance because of this.
Yeah, there's a part that I have about the material and the casing making a difference for like energy inside.
Yes.
Like, for some reason it was like
Yeah.
working with the magnetic forces. And so when it was in its like perfect condition, it created a certain power or something.
So
like
talking about that energy.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Some theorists speculate that the pyramids were designed as energy generation.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Or transmission devices due to their precise geometric shapes and their alignment with
It's just
the
a harp
Earth.
back in the day.
Exactly, yeah. And with the Earth's magnetic field. Proponents of these theories often point to the unique qualities of the pyramid's architecture, suggesting that they could harness or channel energy for various purposes. This idea was proposed by British author Christopher Dunn in his book, The Giza Power Plant.
Yeah.
It sounds like a horrible book. The Giza, I want to read about a power plant. Oh, this is a pyramid.
Yeah.
According to Dunn, the Great Pyramid of Giza was actually a machine that used hydrogen to produce electricity. He argues that the pyramid's internal chambers and passages were designed to produce a chemical reaction that generated hydrogen gas, which was then used to power an electrical generator.
He has a big old, like I went to the website and it's wordy.
It's wordy, yeah. It's got a lot of
But
stuff.
it talks about, all that stuff of how they think it like had like almost like a piston and all this stuff.
That's crazy,
weird.
dude.
It's weird.
This theory goes along with the hidden chambers and mystical powers of the pyramids. As discussed before, a lot of theories with this evolved after the robots' exploration of the Queen's Chamber. Inside, they noted smells and chemicals on the walls. How could they smell? Does the robot have a sniffer on it?
Yeah. I think I skipped a little piece there
That's
that
fine.
said like other people have
gone
I
in
think
there.
when they
Yeah.
explored it, there was a really weird smell.
Yeah. So, anyways, that led them
Which
to
would
believe.
freak me out.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I just breathed in
Some weird
pharaoh's spirit, probably, or something. You know what I mean?
Or you'll have superpowers.
Or else,
one of the two.
yeah, it's something like that. But anyways, that made him think that this might have been a power plant because of the chemicals involved. And
They're
obviously,
just crawling around in a nuclear power plant. Like,
yeah, not good.
or it's just a gigantic refrigerator.
yeah, it could be because it was like perfectly
Like the temperature was exactly like Earth's like average temperature.
Exactly. And obviously, like advanced mathematics, they're like, this is so perfect that we think that they had like some knowledge of more advanced mathematics than we thought they could have had. And then it also goes into like geological anomalies, like the ground on which it was built was pretty special, like geologically. It had unique properties, and I know. And then like
So weird.
we haven't really talked about the Sphinx because there's the Sphinx there as well. But like some people are saying that the Sphinx is actually older.
Whole different time frame and
there's
stuff.
so much going into that. Like they're saying, oh, there's like water erosion here, which means that it was much older than we think it is. So anyways, there's a whole bunch that goes on there that we won't really go into, but and then the symbolism and the purpose of all of this, it's obviously there's some sort of symbolic and spiritual significance beyond like their utilitarian functions, but we just don't know what that is.
Yeah. Seems a lot for a tomb.
It really does, yeah.
And it wasn't, I don't know. Yeah.
Here's the thing, like I really looked into this. There was no hieroglyphics ever found in these three pyramids.
It never was, huh?
No hieroglyphics. Guess what? Also,
no one could draw on there.
No mummy.
Really?
No mummy.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the theory that they were built as tombs for pharaohs is just a theory.
Oh,
because there's not actual evidence.
And they were like, oh, they all got stolen. Like everything got taken out. So
and obviously stuff
that's what they thought.
It has got looted. But they don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's all I mean, again, I read a million articles and every one of them was different.
I know.
Nobody could
the pictures of like weird devices in there that couldn't explain what they were doing and stuff.
Anyways,
weird stuff.
It's super weird, but you know what? What's not weird is being prepared. And one of the ways to be prepared is with long-term shelf life food. And that is like nutrient survival.
Ain't nothing weird about that.
Yeah, it's perfect for today, ready for anything ahead. From hearty, delicious entrees and nutrient-dense snacks to immunity-boosting drinks and strength-building shakes, each with 40 essential nutrients, available in handy singles, daily use pantry packs, durable cans, and 3 to 90-day survival kits, keeping your world safe and your body in peak condition. This isn't your cheap, empty calorie, bland food storage. This stuff actually has nutritional value. Check out their NREs, Nutrition Ready to Eat. They are freaking awesome. Head over to nutrientsurvival.com. Use our code CASUALPREPPERS for 10% off your order. I'll bet you the pharaohs would have put that in the freaking pyramid. You know what I mean?
The formula.
Oh yeah,
survival
it's probably in there
was
somewhere.
In there.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So let's talk about some of the other conspiracies that might be surrounding these pyramids.
Yeah.
Cam.
So before we go into the conspiracies, I just wanted to talk a little bit about pyramidology or pyramidism.
Pyramidism.
It refers to the various religious and pseudoscientific speculations regarding pyramids. Most often, the GSM pyramidologists claim that the Great Pyramid of Giza has been encoded within the predictions for the exodus of the Hebrews from Egypt. So a lot of biblical ties to the whole purpose of this.
Sure.
You know, they say within it has like the predictions of Hebrews, the exodus of the Hebrews from Egypt, the crucifixion of Jesus, the start of World War I, the founding of modern day Israel in 1948. All of it is written and found in there. You said there's no writings though? So I don't know if they depicted with... I
read 2 different articles that said there's no hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
But
so I don't know.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah. This whole pyramidology reached its peak by the early 1980s. Interests revived in 1992 and 93 when Rudolf Gattenbrink sent remote control robots up the Queen's chamber.
Yes, sir.
And we're talking about the pyramid. So yeah,
I'm about to get in and I'm about to breach the
I'm
Queen's
about
chamber.
To right up the Queen's chamber.
Yes, sir.
Types of pyramidology. The main types accounts pyramidological accounts involve one or more of the aspects, which include meteorological theories regarding the construction of the Great Pyramid, hypothetical geometric measurements and stuff that kind of you talked about. Numerical, we talked about that too. Pyramid power.
I've actually heard about this.
This is awesome.
This is interesting.
Yeah. Claims originated in the 1960s that pyramids as geometrical shapes possess supernatural powers. So basically just the construction and shape has all these like special features. I'll talk a little more about that.
That's a Seinfeld episode as
well. The pyramidology or pyramid power?
I think I've told you about this one where George, he's got to get his tonsils out and he doesn't want to spend all the money.
That's right.
And he goes to...
I did watch that episode after you told me about it.
And remember he's holding the pyramid over him while he's drinking that thing? That's right. It's so funny.
But yeah, that was a big deal. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I'll tell you a little more about that. So pseudo-archaeological, which is basically taking the findings and kind of bending them in a way that is a little bit more pseudoscience.
And a lot of people think guys like Graham Hancock, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
I still think he's got some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, but yeah, like the anti-gravity technology and long lost knowledge came from, the different races that no longer exist on Earth, like
Yeah.
the Aryans, the Atlanteans, and stuff like that, and also extraterrestrial. So
Yeah.
that's kind of all that's kind of all pyramidology, which is cool. If you want to get into it, awesome.
Yeah, heck yeah.
They'll accept you. So one of the, like, just some quick biblical ones. A lot of people for a long time believed that Joseph, when he was in Egypt, these were built as granaries.
Okay.
So they just stored grain in them.
Yeah.
Big, huge granaries.
It
So
doesn't make a lot of sense, though.
Yeah, the famine,
Yeah.
and he built these granaries.
That was the pyramids.
That was what the pyramids were used for. This was believed for quite a while.
Wow.
They're wide at the base, narrow at the top, perfect for like a typical silo.
Except for they're not empty.
Yeah,
Except for they're not hollow.
the granary idea fell out of favor in the Middle Ages as European travelers visited Egypt and saw firsthand that the pyramids are not hollow. So they kind of believed they were hollow forever.
That makes sense.
And then when they started looking into it, they're like, there's not much grain at all.
That's a horrible way to store grain.
What a waste of space.
Yeah.
The other theory is that they believe Noah built them.
Noah buddy?
Huh?
Or Noah buddy?
Noah buddy. Yeah, well, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
Nobody on Earth built them. No, Noah that built
Yeah.
the ark.
Sure.
He actually built this after. He's like, I'm a good architect.
I made
Just
an ark
keep
that-
on building some stuff.
Earth flooded, I survived.
Yeah. But the desire to situate the pyramids in the Christian context persisted. 1884 proceedings of the American Meteorological Society mentioned an 1859 book by John Taylor, not the one associated with our church.
Yeah.
The Great Pyramid, Why Was It Built and Who Built It, which claimed that the biblical Noah directed the largest pyramid's construction. You know, built the most amazing ship ever.
Yeah.
And so he also was part of building the pyramids.
Interesting.
So yeah, anyway.
That's the thing.
And then there's those that are like, I don't know what it is. Satan built it.
Yeah, I can get that. I can get down with that.
That's pretty easy.
Sure, yeah.
And a lot of people that just don't understand, they're like, probably Satan.
It's got to be Satan.
If God didn't build it, it ain't in the Bible. Satan built it.
That's right. Yeah.
So, Joseph T. Judge Rutherford, a leader of the early Jehovah's Witness movement, was determined to put an end to the Christian pyramidology espoused by his predecessor, Charles Taze Russell.
Taze Russell.
Yeah, Taze.
Cool
Charles
name.
Taze Russell.
Taze.
Rutherford wrote a 2-part article appearing in the November 15th, 1928 editions of Watchtower titled The Altar in Egypt, wherein it declared it was certain the pyramid of Giza was not built by Jehovah God, nor was it built at his command. And he said it was erected by Satan. Satan put the knowledge in the dead stone, which may be called Satan's Bible and not God's stone witness. Erecting the pyramid, of course, Satan would put in some truths, kind of mix it up a little, make you feel like you know what you're doing. Satan is the foe. So anyway.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, there's a lot of writings on that. I'm going to skip past all that. So anyways, that's an easy one. I can understand people are like, I don't know what it is, probably Satan.
Yeah, sure.
Just to lead us astray. Here's another one. Israel is plotting to steal the pyramids.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Egyptian researcher Amir Gamal recently told Elephant News, I don't know how to say it.
Elephant?
Elef newspaper that Israel's launched a plot to falsify history to show the Jews built the pyramids. That's what they believe. But they're not going down there directly. They're sending in kind of like missionaries from different cultures and nationalities that are Jewish to kind of reclaim what they believe they built.
Okay.
I didn't know about that one. That's kind of interesting.
Why not?
Actually, they're just hills. This is one you kind of mentioned.
Yeah.
An article appearing in October 12, 1884 edition of Fort Wayne Journal Gazette. Isn't that the one you said?
Yep.
Reports in scientific conference held in Philadelphia where a paper was presented that offered a unique theory on how they were constructed. The object of the paper was established the fact that pyramids were built from the top downward. It basically was like a huge quarry where they were cutting and pulling stone from, and they were, no longer mountains now because they just like some competing engineers cut into the pyramids, and now they appear as they are.
Sure.
So they were hills, and so you didn't have to move anything.
That makes it
You just
more
cut it all in
plausible,
place.
to be honest.
Yeah. So interesting. The Great Pyramid was built by some other group, and this was like how Atlantis had been part of this. So Atlantis built the pyramids. Ignatius Loyal Donnelly, that's a great name.
Yeah.
A former congressman from Minnesota, gotta believe the congressman, became obsessed with the legend of Atlantis in 1882. Did we mention him in Atlantis?
It doesn't ring a bell to me, but I don't know.
Among his theories.
Oh, yes, the
I think-
antediluvian
Yeah, I was
world.
going to say. the antediluvian world among theories listed the first chapter of the book. That there was once existed in the Atlantic Ocean, basically that Plato had described, a large island which was the remnant of the Atlantic continent. Atlantis was a region where man first rose from the state of barbarism to civilization. The implements of the Bronze Age in Europe were derived from Atlantis. So they basically got all the information, and I think there's a few History Channel episodes about Atlantis being part of the pyramid construction.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was knowledge that came from this superior race that we've talked about before. So that one's kind of interesting. Yeah, I think that there's just too much on that. I don't really need to go into detail. So there's an ad there. Do you want?
Oh, you're going way down there.
Yeah, this was all part of that same thing that I'm like, there's no reason to really talk deep into the Atlantic.
I get that. What there is use in talking deep into is off-the-grid surplus. Because they've got a mission, Cam. And their mission is to inspire greater connection through adventure. And that's what I love. We want you all to get out there and have some adventure, right? Cam and I are going to have some adventure this next year. Guarantee it, okay? They do that by creating extremely functional and everyday wearable products for a great price to take you off the grid. And how do they do that? Well, they simplify your clothing options so that you only need one piece of clothing instead of 3 or 4. They combine the best features from outdoor, workwear, and tactical into one everyday wearable package. Check out their site, offthegridsurplus.com. Get an extra 15% off with our code CASUALPREPPERS15. Go get you some.
So good, man.
Yes, sir.
You can go from church to the gas station to the mountain, all in the same
And I usually
outfit.
do. I usually do.
Yeah. So, the construction and orientation direct special powers or pyramid power. So this is that part. Pyramid power.
I don't know why Arnold Schwarzenegger's yelling it, but he is.
Yeah, lift this with pyramid power.
You've got to use the pyramid power. It's the only way.
You can't power clean. You got to do pyramid power. Yeah, so the idea that the very shape of the pyramids makes them capable of harnessing regenerative powers probably traces to its origins and first discoveries of the well-preserved mummies in Egypt.
Yeah.
Apparently they weren't in it, though.
No, they weren't.
So that doesn't, this is confusing. But other ones did have mummies.
Apparently.
I don't know. I'm not a pyramidologist.
No.
Whatever.
But I do believe in pyramid power.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the early 20th century, French researcher André Bovis, that's kind of got a little Russian there.
Yeah, that's all right.
Tested the theory by building a scaled-down replica of the Great Pyramid and placing raw meat inside to see if it rotted.
That is the best science experiment ever.
So he had,
my gosh.
Basically he had, so it says he never visited him. That's what's a little confusing.
Sure.
There's some that say that he did, and he saw that there was like a big pile of like these carcasses inside the pyramid, and he's like, they're not going bad.
These carcasses are still good for
They
very
smell
long
very
ago.
good, eh? Eating his
Still tastes
croissant.
very good.
And so he went back and designed his own little Great Pyramid at home, and he put raw meat inside and to see if it rotted. Hearing these experiments, Czech radio engineer Karl Durbel built a cardboard pyramid and claimed that it had actually sharpened his razor blades.
Like he just put them in there
He
and
put them in there and they got sharp. So it's
my
like,
gosh.
the power of the freaking pyramid is
Oh my
incredible. 1959, he was granted a commercial patent for the Chopos razor blades sharpener.
Wow.
You stick it in a pyramid and it'll be good in the morning.
We should try that.
We do need to try that.
Yeah.
I want to put a $1 bill in to see if
More dollar bills come
more,
out?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But the pyramid power's golden age was the 70s.
Yep.
At that time, San Francisco-based writer Bill Sivert Riley observed that it was the perfect pop phenomenon for Jimmy Carter era. It's simple. It requires no great commitment, and anyone can afford a piece of cardboard and can participate. Depending on the literature.
All you broke poor people can figure this out who voted for Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. They said there was advertisements with this that it can sharpen cutlery, age wine, remove bitterness of coffee, preserve foods, purify tap water, strengthen TV reception. Just put a pyramid on top of it. Reduce pain and assist in meditation.
Dude, we might need to do like a full episode.
I had no idea that there was like
power.
this big thing about like these pyramid. Like you just put a pyramid inside,
So like
your life is made.
I had heard that people thought it possessed like healing power and stuff like that, but I had no idea that it
That's
would
kind of
sharpen
like
your
that
knives.
triangle thing, huh, that you were saying.
Exactly. Like I'd heard about that before.
I didn't know that. Yeah, they said even among these were the ability to preserve food, sharpen and maintain. I need a pyramid refrigerator.
Wow, I know, man.
Yeah, improve health function as like an incubator, trigger sexual urges.
Oh, what?
You put a triangle in your bedroom and cause
put it on my wife's side of the bed.
and other effects.
Why are you hanging this?
It's just a phone charger.
Don't worry.
Just leave it.
Fine.
Don't
Just
touch it. Leave it
stay
right
under
there.
there as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. So anyways, it possessed or it allowed for all these amazing things to happen.
My goodness.
Oh, this is the part that kind of said French ironmonger and pendulum dowsing author Antoine Bovis. That's that guy.
What's an ironmonger?
I don't know. He just freaking loves iron.
Just like I wonder what I might be stupid.
I don't know if it's somebody
know what that
that's
word
like
is.
I don't know.
I mean, I know what like a warmonger is.
Yeah, look
but
at
like, what's an
ironmonger.
ironmonger?
I don't know.
A person or store selling hardware such as tools and household implements.
Oh, so he was just selling crap.
No, he's just selling stuff.
But he loved the whole pendulum dowsing stuff. So
sure,
he said that the construction of the Egyptian pyramids were actually done by this. Like they took a rod and pendulum and figured out the precise place to put it.
Sure,
and also it had its special power.
So like a water dowser type thing.
Exactly.
Like when they're trying to find where to dig
a well is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So he basically used that.
Yeah.
And that's how they determined the place to put it. Plus the positioning of the pyramids possess this, like they give this amazing power to like preserve food and all this other stuff. But he said when he did it, like that I was talking about before, he found that like positioning it just right with this positive 2,000 degree magnetic plates, we can mummify animals, and the pyramids have the same property to do all this stuff. So he tried it, put some fish in there and meat, and he said it succeeded totally.
Wow!
Don't know how. He didn't have anything else to claim about that. And then came the razor blades and all that stuff.
Sure.
But in media, so this pyramid power kind of was used in a lot of different media.
Sure.
Flanagan's book was featured on the cover of the lyrics of. Did I mention Flanagan in here? I don't think I did.
I don't know.
Anyways, the Alan Parsons Project 1978 album Pyramid, Pyromania, I guess you should say. A song from the album mocked the idea of pyramid power.
Sure.
Martin Gardner spoofed pyramid power in his mathematical games column in the Scientific American issue of 1974, featuring recurring fictional characters, Dr. Matrix. The conjectures of pyramid power convinced the Onan family, hotel and condo developers in Gurnee, Illinois, to build the pyramid house.
Well, what about, the Luxor?
The Luxor,
right?
Exactly.
And and I always thought that was weird. Like, why do they have the big light on the top? Because there was a capstone.
Yeah.
And I didn't know
Can't
that.
you book that the top?
I don't know.
The very, very top of it.
I don't know. I think it's trash
the
hole
Luxor
these days.
blows my mind. It kind of looks a little trashy.
I think
in
it's
there.
kind of trashy.
But it is creepy in there because the elevators are all sideways and stuff.
It's I think I went and ate at the buffet there one time, and I was like,
yeah.
I think my daughter puked.
We went to the Titanic Museum, and they have the bodies thing in there too.
Mm-hmm. They have a big arcade there that's pretty cool.
Oh, really?
I remember, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Cool. Yeah.
It is kind of like, it must have been better in its day when it was built.
When it was first built.
When I went, I was like, but then again, everything in Vegas gets trashed.
No, real quick, yeah.
So I didn't know this. A religion founded in 1975 called the Summum
I think we talked
the
about
construction of a pyramid called the Summum Pyramid in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yep. I think I showed you a picture of it one day.
Maybe you did.
We were talking, I think it was in the Cults episode or something. Maybe we had talked, I can't remember.
And it was
I remember seeing it, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
cool.
seeing
I
pictures.
haven't seen it. Is it still there, I assume, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
So, and then, it was used in a lot of different other magazines and different ads and stuff. But yeah, so pretty fascinating that it was that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Some believe pyramids align with the constellations, like you're saying.
Yep.
And they kind of form this perfect alignment with the stars
Orion.
and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've already talked a little bit about this, but they believe that the capstone of gold that may have been, and likely the colored exterior, in this part I was talking about how that perfect combination is what gave it all of its power.
Sure.
So it's kind of like all been broken down over time.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think the whole thing was built as a giant escape room for the pharaohs. Makes sense.
Sure, I could see that. It's tough to get in, tough to get
Something
out
fun,
type thing.
Something fun.
Yeah.
Wasn't all that we thought.
It's just crazy that all the knowledge we have these days, like the things we can do, the things that we know, well, we think we know, I suppose, but we just can't figure this out.
I know.
And it's been here for so long. It's like one of those, like I said, it's one of the only remaining ancient wonders of the world.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like, it's just, it blows my mind.
I, for the longest time, thought it was all figured out.
Yeah.
But
no,
we
it's
have
not.
no clue at all.
There are a couple of people that really delve deep into this. Graham Hancock is one, and
I think it's the one that you showed me. Like,
he's got a new series on Netflix, but a lot of it is not necessarily just about the pyramids. But also, there's a YouTube channel called Bright Insight where he goes. So he's the one that we talked about in the Atlantis episode as well. He does a lot with Atlantis, but he also does a lot with the pyramids. So
there's just so much information.
Yeah,
like,
there's so much.
We like.
Oh,
barely touched.
We scratched the surface.
Yeah, like
that would
barely touched the tip of it.
Yeah,
the capstone.
This episode is really hard because there's so much information.
Yeah,
and there's
I
so
didn't
much,
want to bog it down with all the detail. We just wanted to mention there's so many conspiracies and
conflicting
rightfully
information.
so because it's super confusing.
There's a lot of conflicting information on this. So, but it's so interesting, man. Really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I don't see us ever figuring this sucker out.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's why I don't know. It's got to be aliens.
Till the aliens show up,
Yeah.
then they can tell us what happened.
Maybe if we go there one day, and we start to look around in there, we would probably need some gear, and we could
gear.
probably get some gear from Battle Box, I bet, because we've got the latest Battle
This box might do it, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean there are some cool stuff in here that could be good. Like in the basic box, the first item is the Outdoor Element Fire Flute. You ever wanted to play a flute, and start a fire at the same time? You got to have the fire flute, right?
And then just lights up.
Yeah, it has a whistle on it, and you can also start a fire.
Yo, fire flute.
Yeah,
Give that a blow. I should do a commercial for
Give a toot on that flute. Hot as can be. Then we have the Delta Emergency Water Filter. Cool.
Yeah, this is different.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
a
this
new
one.
kind. It's like a carbon
maxi pad. There you go.
Multiple uses.
You just pull it, you just drop it, or you just filter through, right?
Filter through. Exactly. There's a lot of jokes there I ain't going to. Absorbit's Wet Electronics Rescue Pouch. Oh yeah. So this is if you get your iPhone wet, and that's not it.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
That's right.
That's not it.
Oh,
that's not it.
It's this one. Because this one I like this. Yeah, you're like, no. I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's not it.
The Wet Electric Rescue Pouch.
Yeah.
Goes in wet, comes out dry.
Comes out dry.
That's cool.
Anyways, and then we got the Johnny Slicks Beast Bar.
So it's like a rice, like a thing of rice.
Yeah, it's like putting your phone in rice.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
it actually works.
No, this is it?
No, Johnny Slicks Beast Bar.
Slicks.
Yeah. It smells good.
Bar. That does actually smell good.
And then we go into the advanced box and Cam's favorite item, the Right Line Gear single cargo storage bag.
There we go.
You figured it out.
I was holding out. Yeah. Waiting. There you go.
Exactly. So that's cool. Then we got the Figure 9 carabiner rope tightener.
Figure 9. These are that one's kind of cool. I don't think I have that one.
I don't either.
I have a bunch of carabiners.
Yeah.
Not this one.
Nope. And then we got the Pro Box. We have the Wiley X voucher, $100 value at wileyx.com.
That's why they have it all.
Yeah.
Yellow attention. Don't throw it away.
Well, no, it's in the envelope.
Ow.
Yeah.
Don't throw both of them away.
Yeah, you don't need the other one.
That
really.
one's telling you not to throw this
That's
one away.
telling you not to throw that one away. Exactly. And then Pro Plus.
$100 off?
$100. It's a gift card, basically.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Then the Pro Plus, we got the Condor El Salvador machete. You know,
Made in Colombia.
made in Colombia in the hills of Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is a beast.
That is a machine.
That will cut your hand off.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I think that's the one that Brad Pitt used to cut off that girl's hand in, in World War Z.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And it's got a nice sheath too,
Yeah.
not like just some little crappy.
Wear that one to Walmart.
It's got a
Is your
belt loop
EDC.
on it. Put this on.
No. Wear it the next time you have a doctor's appointment. You go,
Yeah.
wear
Can't
it to the
be too
dentist.
prepared.
Wear it to the
Can't
dentist.
be too prepared.
Wear it to the dentist. See what happens, you know?
Oh man. Yeah.
That's it, Cam.
That was a lot of stuff.
Sure.
But
Good times.
now you know more.
Mhm.
than your
Than you knew
elementary
before.
school geology teacher.
I don't think I learned one thing in school about the pyramids. I don't
I just
remember.
remember pictures. They exist. Moving on.
Yeah, there's pyramids in Egypt. All right, now we're gonna go dance around a maypole.
Now we're going to play parachute.
Yeah, it's
Everybody run underneath it.
yeah, let's not do anything that's useful for sure. All right, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Thank you for subscribing. Send us to your friends. Stay survived.